Science is a way of life. Science is a perspective.
Science is the process that takes us from confusion to understanding in a manner that's precise, predictive, and reliable. With these inspiring lines, I, Shivam Modi,
And I, Anshika Sharma, students of Delhi Public School Janjgir Chapa, welcome you all in this auspicious program of Virtual Annual Science Exhibition 2020-21.
we feel honored to have with us the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Alok Srivastav. Sir, you hardly need any introduction. It's a great honor for us to introduce you.
We are pleased to welcome you, sir. Dr. Alok Srivastav is an outstanding scientist, the Deputy Director of Mechanical System Area, former Group Director of Thermal Systems Group, and former Project Director of INSET 3DR, 3DS, and GISET 1 and 2. You have made all of us proud by your distinguished work in numerous capacities. The entire DPSJC fraternity extends a grand warm welcome to you, sir.
This day is the result of vision and commitment of one of the best personalities with us, who always says, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow.
We are extremely honored to extend a warm welcome to the guest of honor, respected President Sir, Mr. Raj Kishore Devangan, who is an epitome of excellence in education, the man behind the success of our school. We welcome you, sir. Light fades away darkness. Light symbolizes knowledge and wisdom-free will.
To solemnize the special invitation, I'd like to entreat our guest of honor, respected President Sir and Vice President Sir of our school, to illuminate this lamp of knowledge and wisdom on behalf of our chief guest, Dr. Alok Srivastav. For this, I would request respected Principal Ma'am to escort Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Flowers have a way of bringing people together. Flowers always make people happier and more helpful. They are sunshine, food, and medicine to the soul.
Respected sir, we the DPSJC family feeling extremely honored by presenting the virtual floral welcome to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Alok Srivastav.
Sir, kindly accept it as a token of our love and respect.
We are also overwhelmed while presenting the virtual floral welcome to our respected President Sir, Mr. Raj Kishore Devangan, who nurtures and cares for us day and night and makes us all smile like these beautiful flowers. Our Vice President Sir, Mr. Purushottam Devangan, thank you, sir. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. You all might have got whom I'm talking about. She is none other than our respected Principal Ma'am, Mrs. Kalpana Singh.
As a true welcome is never complete without warm words and warmer gestures, and so I request respected Principal Ma'am to deliver a welcome speech.
Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. Alok Srivastav ji, Guest of Honor, Mr. Raj Kishore Devangan, President, Delhi Public School, Janjgir Chapa, and Ram Gopal Devangan Memorial Society. Respected teachers, my dear students, a warm welcome to each one of you to the 6th Annual Science Exhibition of Delhi Public School, Janjgir Chapa. I am feeling amazingly enchanted to have been facilitated the 6th Annual Science Exhibition of our school. Initially, I might want to thank Almighty God for giving me this remarkable chance of exhibiting my ability and tending to every one of you on the platform. Furthermore, I am loaded up with incredible pride that our school is proceeding to host such occasions and projects progressively and on such a noteworthy scale where a nobleman, Dr. Alok Srivastava ji, is welcomed to turn into a part of the whole experience. Sir, आपकी सफलता की कहानी यही कहती है, कदम जमीन पर और नजर आसमान पर रहती है। छत्तीसगढ़ ले पावन कांसा कंचन कोसा धरती माँ स्थित स्वर्गीय श्री राम गोपाल देवांगन मेमोरियल सोसाइटी ले संचालित दिल्ली पब्लिक स्कूल जांजगीर चांपा केती ले जम्मू संगवारी मनला मझनिया के राम राम। हमार छत्तीसगढ़ महतारी के मायारू होनहार वीर सपूत डॉक्टर आलोक श्रीवास्तव जी ला जय जोहार और आभार। जिन अतका बड़ वैज्ञानिक होए के बाद भी हमार लइका मन ला अपने च लइका मन समझ के ओखर उत्साह बढ़ाए बर अपन कीमती बेरा ला देहिस, जेकर बर दिल्ली पब्लिक स्कूल के बड़े गुरुआइन श्रीमती कल्पना सिंह केतीला बहुत बहुत आभार। और हमारे स्कूल के मुखिया श्री राजकिशोर देवांगन जी ला जय जोहार। डॉक्टर आलोक श्रीवास्तव जी छत्तीसगढ़ ले बिलासपुर शहर में पढ़े लिखे के बाद इसरो के वैज्ञानिक बन के इसरो ला अतका ऊंचाई में पहुंचाइस जेन ला हमन सोच भी नहीं सकन। और अभी ले इसरो के विकास बर प्रयास करत हवे और हमार छत्तीसगढ़ के मान ला बढ़ावत है। एक बार फिर अपन कीमती बेरा ला हमार कार्यक्रम में देही बर आप मन ला गाढ़ा गाढ़ा धन्यवाद। जय जोहार, जय छत्तीसगढ़। Dr. Alok Srivastava is an outstanding scientist, Deputy Director, Mechanical Systems Area, former Group Director of Thermal Systems Group and former Project Director of INSET 3DR, 3DS and GISET 1 and 2. UR Rao Satellite Center, Bangalore. I extend my heartfelt welcome to the captain of the ship of knowledge whose vision and commitment towards education is remarkable and inspires us as a team, Mr. Rajkishore Devangan, President, RDMS and DPSJC. We welcome you, sir. The entire DPSJC fraternity welcomes Honorable Vice President, sir, Mr. Purushottam Devangan, VP Finance, CA, Mr. Naval Kishore Devangan, and AVP Mr. Kamal Kishore Devangan for their unconditional support and caring for us day and night. We welcome you all, sir. I welcome the budding scientists of future whose imagination and innovation, scientific temperament and hard work made this day possible. Welcome my dear students. I also welcome all the teachers whose mentoring and guidance supported the students and their best has come out. The series of welcoming will be incomplete if I won't include the proud parents of Delhi Public School Janjgir Champa whose continuous support and cooperation makes all the events successfully possible. I welcome all the dear viewers to the annual science exhibition. These expressions or projects that you see are made by the students of our school where you will discover models dependent on science. I am confident that this science exhibition will intrigue all of you and mix your dimensions of energy. I'll also intrigue your incredibly and dazzle your consideration because our students have arranged the models to the best of their abilities, applying their insight. Once again, welcome you all. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Dear viewers, we are really blessed to have a noble man amongst us to chair the event. We would like to invite to throw light on the journey of Dr. Alok Srivastava as a successful personality and an eminent scientist of ISRO.
Good evening everyone. I, Yagnalk Mishra, welcome you all. It's my pleasure to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Alok Srivastava, on his very special day of Virtual Annual Science Exhibition 2020-21. Dr. Srivastava is a gold medalist at graduation level from Government Engineering College, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh, and doctorate from IIT Bombay. He joined ISRO in April 1987 as a technical design engineer for India's first multi-purpose spacecraft INSAT-2A, and after designing more than 10 spacecraft including Chandrayaan-1, Chandrayaan-2, Mars Orbiter Mission (MOM) as project manager, deputy project director. Currently, he is an outstanding scientist and deputy director of Mechanical System Area in URSC. He is core committee member to address many technical issues and as a configuration study team member in URSC for involving new spacecraft. He is board member in several committees in ISRO. He is also a board member for a few projects in DRDO and Sriharikota Launch Port. Two thermal engineers of ISRO have completed their PhDs under them. Several developed technologies in the field of mechanical engineering like thin film coating and optical solar reflector, ED current damper, paraffin actuator and thermal cutter, mechatronic hydraulic valve, automated tensile tensing and optoelectronics apparatus for static and dynamic measurement are already transferred to industries successfully. And many developed technologies in the field of CFRP core, monolithic composite sandwich shells, HP embedded panel and process, and vibration isolators, etc. are ready for the transfer. And now there are 70 R&D activities in thermal, mechanisms and structure are in progress within area which may get matured from 2021 to 2030. That is short, mid and long-term goals. 3 technologies, Spider rover, lattice composite structure and origami-inspired solar panel, reflector, array, antenna projects are being reviewed by him as chairman. He has been given ISRO Team Award for Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft and Astronautical Society of India Award for year 2007 toward his significant contributions for spacecraft related technologies. He was awarded ISRO Award for 2016 for design, development and realization of cryogenic colors for space applications. He is Executive Secretary for ASI since last 6 years. He has delivered more than 210 technical talks in English as well as in Hindi throughout the country in last 25 years. He has published around 35 papers at national and international level and more than 250 restricted internal reports within ISRO. We all wish him for his likely promotion to distinguished scientist, the last step in the hierarchy from January 2021. He is member of Advisory Board of School of Mechanical Engineering, MIT WPU. He does live coverage of Indian launches from Sriharikota, the only spaceport of India, for almost 30 launches including Mars Orbiter Mission (MOM) and Chandrayaan-2 from ISTRAC, ISRO, Telemetry Tracking and Command Network. We are really thankful to Dr. Alok Srivastava for taking the time out of his busy schedule to be present with us virtually. Sir, your presence is a blessing for all of us. We hope that the students will seek guidance and imbibe many things from your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Decision of India to go to the space led to the root of formation of ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, which works on a concept, harness space technology for national development while pursuing space science research and planetary exploration.
Oh no, please wait Anshika. Don't spoil the excitement by telling everything about ISRO. Let's call Aditi Joshi with a wonderful PowerPoint presentation on ISRO.
Good evening everyone, I am Aditi Joshi and today I am going to give a presentation on ISRO's contribution in space science. In 1962, the Indian National Committee for Space Research is formed under leadership of Vikram Sarabhai, who is known as the father of India's space program, and physicist Kalpathy Ramakrishna Ramanathan. In 1969, Indian Space Research Organization was formed to harness space technology for national development. In 1975, on 19th April, first Indian satellite Aryabhat was launched into space. It marked a milestone in India's space program because it was completely designed in the country and launched from a Russian faculty. In 1979, the first experimental remote sensing satellite which was built in India was launched, namely Bhaskar 1. In 1980, India's first experimental satellite vehicle was launched, namely Satellite Launch Vehicle 3 or SLV-3, which makes ISRO's sixth nation in space program. SLV-3 launched second time with Rohini. The mission was successful. In 1993, developed in 1990s and has become the Indian space mission's most reliable workhorse, in 1993, PSLV carried out its first mission and its first successful mission was held in 1994. India's first interplanetary mission to the planet Mars, known as Mars Orbiter Mission or Mangalyaan, was launched. On 24 September 2014, MOM entered Mars orbit. India became the first country in the world to insert a spacecraft into the Martian orbit in its very first attempt. India's second mission to the moon, Chandrayaan-2, was launched on 22nd July 2019 from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. Now we will see a short video from the very proud moment for all the Indian citizens, the launch of PSLV.
Liftoff. Liftoff now. Very fantastic, steady flight on the way.
Tracking.
Liftoff. It is moving up. I can see the way it is going, how steadily it is going.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Aditi.
The peak time has arrived. We can see the smiling faces, and from that, we get the excitement of our future scientists, those who are eagerly waiting to demonstrate their models.
Let us initiate today's day by putting spotlight on the densest part of the cell, which people are not aware of.
I would like to call Yogesh Kurre and group for introduction of DNA.
Good evening, respected chief guest, President sir, Principal ma'am, and all my dear viewers. My name is Saurabh Samuel.
My name is Yogesh Kurre.
My name is Thomas Banjare. Today we are going to perform an experiment, that is isolation of DNA. In this experiment we are going to extract DNA from fresh spinach leaves. As we all know, what is DNA? It stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It is present inside the nucleus of the cell. DNA is responsible for transferring genetic materials from one generation to the next generation.
In this whole experiment, we have to maintain cold temperature to prevent denaturation of DNA. Now I am going to crush some fresh spinach leaves. We have to add some NaCl to it. We have to make it a thin slurry of it.
Now we will take a beaker and a strainer in order to remove all the pellets from the slurry of the spinach. Now we have to add some liquid dishwash to it. Mix it well and let it rest for some time. After some time, we have to transfer this filtrate to the test tube.
Then we have to add some chilled alcohol through the walls of the test tube in the same amount of the filtrate that we have in it. And leave this filtrate under cold temperature for 30 minutes.
After 30 minutes, take that solution. In this solution, we are able to see white sticky thread-like structures. These white sticky these white thread-like structures is DNA.
The query for the first project titled as Isolation of DNA. I have two queries. First is the DNA extracted pure?
No, the DNA that have extracted is not pure. It is having some contaminants in the form of carbohydrates, protein and other biomolecules.
And the second query from my side is, what's the application of extracted DNA?
There are so many applications of extracted DNA after purification in DNA fingerprinting, in biotechnology to produce genetically modified organisms, to diagnose genetic disorders, to cure genetic disorders.
Thank you.
Thank you Yogesh and group for telling this amazing concept.
My friends are going to present energy produced by the three essentials, that is, wind, solar and water. For this, I would like to call Tejaswini Singh and group on stage.
Good evening, dear viewers.
I am Ajit Singh Rathore.
I am Tejaswini Singh.
I am Akash Ratnakar.
I am Pradyum Kumar Shukla.
I am Abhikanda Vangan. We have three topics in our project: the wind energy, solar energy and the hydel energy. So let us start with the wind energy. Over to Pradyum and Abhikant.
Here, we have windmill to harness energy from the wind. As the wind blows, the blade will rotate. As a result, turbine with the help of generator produce electricity.
So let us start with the solar panel. Let us first know what is a solar panel and what it is made up of. A solar panel is an energy production system using renewable resources present in the nature. This solar panel is made up of many solar cells, and solar cells are made up of silicon-like semiconductors. They are organized in a well manner to create an electric field. They are organized by a positive layer and a negative layer, which together create an electric field, just like in a battery. Here, this solar panel will charge itself using the sunlight and will glow this light.
So let's see how we can generate electricity using the water in our houses. Whenever it rains, the water collected on the rooftop flows through this pipe, and the turbine fitted inside will rotate. It will rotate and generate energy which will be stored at this power station and will generate this light.
The electricity produced by all these sources is stored in a battery in the station. So this was all about our project.
The whole world is going through energy crisis, and every country is looking for the renewable energy sources, clean energy sources. So towards that, very good project done by DPS Chapa, that's integrated energy production. So the query from my side is for the students, what are the benefits of integrated energy systems in the world?
The benefits of integrated energy production in world are: first, eco-friendly. It is clean and results in little to no greenhouse and net carbon emission. Second is, as the term suggested, it is renewable. It has infinity of sustainability and we will never run out of it. Third is far more reliable. Our dependence on finite sources like fuels are reduced. Fourth is relatively cheap and cost efficient. They are cheaper and more economically sound than other sources of energy, even though the initial costs are high. Fifth is efficiency. They support achievement of renewable portfolio standards for renewable energy and energy efficiency. Thank you.
And the second is, what's the relation between integrated energy, environment and sustainable development? Because sustainable development is a continuously progressive approach for the coming societies. Okay, so it's very essential. So please respond.
Integrated energy system harness the energy from renewable sources, causing no harm to the environment and at the same time achieving goals of sustainable development. Thank you.
Be safe,
be enlightened,
be happy,
be healthy,
keep smiling.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tejaswini and group.
The current scenario due to which we all are bounded to conduct this event virtually is this pandemic. And the two very important protective measures for us is mask and hand sanitizer. So here is Afan Sheikh with the model of an automatic hand sanitizer dispenser.
Good evening everyone. Myself Afan Sheikh of class 9B going to present my creation. In this COVID pandemic situation, we need regular use of sanitizer and maintain social distancing. So here is my ideology maintaining the both. The automatic hand sanitizer machine. This machine contains two IR LEDs, one the IR sensor and the second one is the IR receiver. When you place your hand in front of it, it automatically senses your hand and give the command to turn on the pump and the sanitizer comes on your hand. Now rub your hand, be safe, be healthy. Thank you.
What a year 2020 was for the entire globe. Pandemic, COVID-19 everywhere. Lot of suggestive measures were there from WHO, from our government of India. So a lot of solutions have come up from industries and from the young brains of DPS. There was a solution as automatic hand sanitizer dispenser. My question is, what's the working principle of this model? So kindly respond to that. Is it a sensor based? It is a mechanical where food operation, and which way? So kindly respond to that. Thank you.
This machine works on the IR sensor, infrared sensor. It contains two IR LEDs, one the infrared sensor and the second one is the infrared receiver. When you place your hand in front of it, the infrared rays get deflected by your hand and this is by the receiver and gives the command to turn on the pump, and in this way the sanitizer comes out.
Thank you, Afan Sheikh.
Who don't like magic? We all love watching magic tricks. Inviting for showing us magic of chemistry.
I was reading the beginning of the chemistry. People used to tell that पारस कहते हैं कि जिससे छू ले वो सोना बन जाए. तो सारी केमिस्ट्री का एवोल्यूशन उस सोने की चाहत में हुआ. So a very good project from DPS. The title given is Chemistry Magic.
Good evening everyone. My name is Sri Krishna Singh.
My name is Arvind Tiwari.
My name is Shreya Devan.
My name is Srijan Devangan.
We have shown you some magic tricks, but they are not magic, it's pure science.
Thank you.
Heartbeats have gone up after looking at the magic tricks. It was truly amazing. Thank you, friends. The space station orbits the Earth about every 90 minutes. That is approximately 16 times a day.
How do you know this?
Some of my classmates told me.
Who? I also want to beat them and increase my knowledge on space station.
Is it so? Okay, so I'm calling them, inviting Daisy Ratre and Soumya Chandra for telling us about the space station.
Good evening everyone. I am Soumya Chandra.
And I am Daisy Ratre.
This is our project, Space Station.
This is a non-working model. A large artificial satellite designed to be occupied for long periods and to serve as a base. As for scientific observation, is called a space platform or a space station, also known as orbital station or an orbital space station. It is a spacecraft capable of supporting a human crew in orbit for an extended period of time. It lacks major propulsion or landing systems. Stations must have docking ports to allow other spacecraft to dock to transfer crew and supplies. The purpose of maintaining an orbital outpost varies depending on the program. Space stations have almost often been launched for scientific purposes, but military launches have also occurred.
As of 2021, one fully operational and permanently inhabited space station. The International Space Station, which is used to study the effect of spaceflight on the human body as well as to provide a location to conduct a great number and longer length of scientific study than is possible on the other space vehicle. China, India, Russia and US as well as Bigelow's Air Space are all planning other space for coming decade. Thank you.
I talked about ISRO's its contribution and the project by DPS is one such. The title is Space Station. Very nice project, and I'm sure that it is really liked by many. So the question is the space station visible from the Earth, and if so, at what speed does it travel?
No, the space station is not visible from the Earth. The space station travels at the speed of 7.66 km per second.
How many people can be there at the space station at the same time?
A maximum of 6 people can be there in the space station at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy and Soumya. India is the first nation in the world to successfully reach Mars on its very first attempt. So let us welcome Gitansh Aditya for presenting the model of PSLV Mangalyaan.
Good evening everyone. I am Gitansh Aditya
And I am Aditi Joshi.
and we are honored to present our project to the eminent scientist of ISRO. This is our project, the PSLV, that is the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. We are going to perform the launch of PSLV. We have designed the nearby location of one of our famous Indian Space Center.
That is the Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh.
The first PSLV was launched on 20th September 1993, and after that many other missions were successfully done through the PSLV. This is the place where the rocket is engineered, tested and is assembled. The rocket is completed here, and all the work on the rocket including fueling of rocket, testing of rocket and setting of the satellite is done here. This is the stand of the rocket. The PSLV stands on this. The stand has its own wheels that follows the track and goes away from the building area before the launch. This is the controlling center of the rocket. All the parts of the rockets are controlled from this place, including the separation of the rocket into different stages.
The fuel used in the first stage, the third stage, and as well as the strap on the booster rocket motor is the solid hydroxide terminated polybutadiene as a fuel. The second and the fourth stages uses liquid fuel. The second stage uses unsymmetrical dimethyl hydrazine as a fuel along with nitrogen tetraoxide as an oxidizer. The fourth and the final stages uses monomethyl hydrogen fuel and mixed oxides of nitrogen. Now my companion will show you the launch of the PSLV in our own created space.
We will first see the working of the bottom engine of the PSLV, and every large engine is denoting the upper one with it. The bottom engine provides a great height to the upper part of the rocket and goes on until the fuel is over. When the fuel is over, the bottom engine is separated from rest of the rocket, and then in the phase 2, the mid-engine continues to work with the rest of the rocket, and this is also separated when the fuel is over. The third and the final phase carries the satellite up to a height of 600 km and above through the solid boosters that can be stopped once it is started. The solid boosters are also separated once the fuel is over. The technique that we have used to execute the launching of this PSLV is the conveyor belt technique. We have used the big size motors and high supply of electricity. The base of our model was ply and the rest of the models were of corrugated cardboard sheets and thermocol sheets.
Indian Space Research Organization is progressing rapidly in the field of space. We salute the scientists of our ISRO who are working day and night to make our country feel proud.
Thank you.
Space. Second is every satellite will be launched to deep space using some vehicle. In India we have so many vehicles. One such is PSLV, which is used for launching Chandrayaan-1 and also the Mangalyaan. So the title of the project given is PSLV-Mangalyaan. My question to the student is, what's the working principle and applications of PSLV? Thank you.
Working principle of the PSLV is the combination of solid rocket motor and liquid filled stages to make use of both raw power of solid rockets and to increase payload performance and precision of liquid filled stages. Due to its unmatched reliability, the PSLV has been used to launch various satellites in the geosynchronous and geostationary orbits like the satellites from the IRNSS constellation.
Thank you, Gitansh. Imagination is the foundation of all invention and innovation. Following this idea, Aryajit Prasad has brought the concept of Tesla coil, and we are highly excited to know about it. Let us call Aryajit Prasad.
Good evening everyone, I am Aryajit Prasad of class 8 and today I am going to show you how a Tesla coil works. Now as you can see, I have a bulb in my hand which is not connected to any circuit or battery, and here's a Tesla coil. Now when I switch on the Tesla coil and keep the bulb near it, the bulb will start to glow wirelessly. So you might be thinking, why does it happen? Is it some sort of magic? No. A Tesla coil transforms energy into high voltage charges, creating an electrical field around itself, by which any bulb like this, which will come inside that electrical field, will start to glow wirelessly. It was designed by one of the most extraordinary inventors the world has ever known, Sir Nikola Tesla. The main aim of the Tesla coil was the transmission of wireless electricity around the world. In fact, Nikola Tesla was almost successful in making a coil that huge which could transmit electricity wirelessly around the world, and this project was called the Tesla Tower. But unfortunately it had to be shut down due to lack of money, as the investors of this project thought it was useless because it didn't generate any profit. But if the Tesla Tower project would have been successful, it would have been a great achievement to mankind. And the Tesla coil is also life-saving in a way. You might be thinking, why am I saying this project a life-saving project? Because in many developing countries like our country itself, majority of the places don't have underground wires. due to which many accidents occur every year due to transformer blast or broken down wires. So if we would have wireless electricity, many accidents can be reduced every year.
A very well known name in the vehicle side, in the e-vehicle side specifically, Tesla Coil is the title given for this project. My two queries regarding this project is, what will happen if there is only one coil in the Tesla coil?
If there's only one coil in the Tesla coil, it won't be able to create an electrical field because there won't be a secondary coil to collect the power maximized by the primary coil.
And the second is the process of wireless charging economically feasible even if it's viable? So kindly respond to that.
Yes, the process of wireless charging and wireless electricity is economically feasible because less amount of power is used to generate a great amount of power. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear, for this amazing knowledge.
Anshika, do you know what was the name of first gas detector in the industrial age?
Yeah, Shivam, I know it. It was flame safety lamp.
But I require more knowledge about the gas detector.
Don't worry, Shivam. Harsh will tell you the same.
Good morning to all of you. My name is Harsh Kumar Jha and this is my project Gas Detecting Sensor. Think when you are not aware of the leakage and unfortunately you turn on the fire. Oof, seems dangerous, right? But you don't need to be afraid now about the leakage because this project can help you with it. This project can automatically sense the leakage whenever the gas is leaking. So you will think, what if you are not in home? Then what will you do? So don't worry because we have also fit a phone in this which can help you with it. Whenever the gas will be leaked, it will call you and tell you whenever the gas is leaking. Let me show you how it works. See, I have turned on the gas and now I am going to leak the gas. See, whenever the sensor senses the leakage, it automatically rings the call and the buzzer. And whenever I will keep it away, the buzzer will stop working and the phone call will stop again. Okay, now let me tell you the principle of this project. Whenever this MQ5 gas detecting sensor senses the gas leakage, it automatically sends the current to the relay, and the relay and the transistor helps as the amplifier and sends the proper amount of current to the buzzer and the phone call.
You may be familiar with LPG and the various gases which people utilize both in residence as well as in the industries. So there are some gases which may be dangerous. For example, you may be remembering the Union Carbide accident in Madhya Pradesh way back, maybe around 20 years back or so. So my question for the project which is titled as gas detector, it's very essential to detect the harmful gases. So my question is, what is the gas detector called?
MQ5 sensors or cells are most commonly used in the detection of toxic gases like carbon dioxide, methane and propane, which are commonly present in liquid petroleum gas. They function via electrode signals and are highly sensitive, and they give warning signals by electrical currents.
And the second is, how does the gas leak detected?
If you hear a hissing noise around your natural gas piping or appliances, you may have a natural gas leakage.
This sensor takes help of sensitive electrodes to detect the gas leakage.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh.
We don't know when any terrifying situation like earthquake will come and ruin our lives.
To make us heal up to some extent, here are some of my friends with a demonstration of the model of an earthquake alarm. Let us have a light on what they have made.
Good evening everyone. Catastrophe like Gujarat earthquake in year 2001 happens suddenly and destroys things in a second. But it takes a lot to fix the things accurately after that. Why to wait for the post-calamity? Why can't we be prepared and can be aware beforehand?
Yes, my dear friend, this was the initial thought behind opting this model making. I, Srijan Devangan, along with my friend Advait Tiwari, we are here with our model entitled Earthquake Alarm.
Let me tell you all in detail about our model. It is a device for notifying adjoining regions of a substantial earthquake while it is in progress. This is not same as earthquake prediction, which is currently incapable of producing decisive events warning. Now I will tell you all about earthquake prone zone. First zone is pink, no risk zone. In this area there is no risk of earthquake. For example like Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, here Delhi, etc. And the second zone is low risk zone. There is low risk zone in this area. Example Chhattisgarh, Bengal, Odisha, etc. And the third one is moderate risk zone like Jammu and Kashmir, Leh, Ladakh, etc. And the fourth and last one is high risk zone. Example Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Gujarat, etc. Now Srijan will tell you how the earthquake alarm exactly works. At first, when earthquake comes, the ground shakes, and when the ground shakes, the alarm also shakes and ring the buzzer. Thanks.
मुझे बचपन की एक घटना याद आती है कि मेरी माँ कहानी सुनाया करती थी कि जो पूरी पृथ्वी है वो सांप के फन के ऊपर रखी हुई है और सांप कोई और नहीं बल्कि लक्ष्मण जी का अवतार है और जरा सा इधर उधर थक जाने पे अगर वो हिलते हैं तो अर्थक्वेक या भूकंप आता है. So children, very nice project for earthquake detection or earthquake alarm. So my question to you is, what will happen when you increase the thickness of copper wire? So kindly answer.
If the thickness of the copper wire is increased, the sensor will be less responsive and will be unable to identify the small tremors. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear friends.
I love science to the moon and back, as the moon reminds me of Chandrayaan 3.
Let us invite Ashutosh Agrawal and Shreyansh Talware to present the model of Chandrayaan 3.
Good evening everyone. I am Ashutosh Agrawal.
I am Shreyansh Talware. We both are going to show you how the Chandrayaan 3 will work.
As you all know, the Chandrayaan 2's lander and rover was not working as well as possible. The Chandrayaan 2's orbiter is working now also. It has shared the image of the moon.
And the image shows that in the polar region of the moon shows rusting has been started.
As you all know, without the iron containing materials, rusting cannot be possible.
That is why ISRO scientists are so much excited to do this project and named this Chandrayaan 3.
Let's see how it will be working. This is the earth and this is the moon, this is the orbit, and it is the GSLV Mark 3, it is going. This is the lander of the Chandrayaan 3 that came on Chandrayaan 3, GSLV Mark 3. Suppose this is the surface of the moon, this is the lander, and this is the rover. It is named as Vikram. This is the picker of the soil, this picks, and this is having one self-made lab. It picks the soil and sends the image of the moon. Thank you.
Chandrayaan is the title of the next project, and it's a very prestigious mission for ISRO. So you have done a project on that. My question is, Chandrayaan 2 is having an orbit or not?
Yes, Chandrayaan 2 is having an orbiter and that is still working.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shreyansh and Ashutosh. Shivam, can you tell me the name of some heavy-duty equipments?
What does it mean?
Let's see and understand the working of a hydraulic crane, and for that, I would like to call Ayush Kumar Patra for telling us the details.
Good evening everyone, my name is Ayush Kumar and today I want to show you my creation of hydraulic crane. This system is called as the hydraulic crane, where we use pressure from a liquid to do some mechanical work. This machine works on the laws of physics. We use water instead of air because the density of water is greater than the density of air. Basically, we can perform three functions by using this hydraulic crane. Therefore, lift, grab and turn function. The first syringe from the left is used for lifting function. The second syringe from the middle is used to grab the weight. The third syringe from the right is used for turning function. You will think that what if we put a weight of the object, then it can lift that. So first thing is the object depends on the mass and size of the object. But if you want to lift a heavy weighted object, you should hold the grab function and shift the object from one place to another. Let me show you how it works. So first we have to grab the object, then second we have to lift the object, then we have to use the turn function so it can go from one place to another. So look how it works. Then I will release the lift function, then I will also release the grab function. If I push the plunger piston of the first syringe, the water in the syringe goes out to the connecting tube, which moves into the connecting syringe. This movement causes my crane to rotate, lift or grab functions. Thank you.
The 12th project is about hydraulic crane. The best mechanical engineering demonstration is the utilization of the force by hydraulics, the fluids in the system. So I request to answer or to respond the question related to the principle and utilization or uses of hydraulic crane. Thank you.
Hydraulic crane works on the concept of transmitting forces to a fluid, and only due to this they are able to lift heavy loads. In the essence, a hydraulic crane works on optimizing the strength that is produced by the liquid under the pressure. We can use hydraulic crane to grab, lift and move objects. Hydraulic systems are used in automobile sectors, construction equipments, lifts, excavators, power steering, shock absorbers, windshields and brake are the common applications of hydraulic machines. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayush. Take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscle, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea.
Yes, this is what we learned from our holistic and honorable President Sir, the person who has consumed himself to change the society and light the darkness in the life of your children. May I now request our respected President Sir, Mr. Rajkishore Devangan, to share his values and vision.
For the birth of something new, there has to be a happening. With this famous quote of Alexander Fleming, good evening to all. Respected Chief Guest of the day, Dr. Alok Srivastava ji, parents, my beloved students and all the viewers. It is my great pleasure to be here today. I am most happy to see so many brilliant young scientists at this opening ceremony of the 6th Annual Science Exhibition of DPSJC. The school science exhibition is an important occasion for students to share ideas and exchange thoughts. This exhibition has inspired hundreds of young people. It offers students a precious opportunity to showcase their achievement, which can motivate them to further their pursuit of scientific knowledge. Here I would like to express my deep gratitude and appreciation for the efforts of Dr. Alok Srivastava ji, Deputy Director, Mechanical Systems Area, ISRO, Bangalore. Sir, your presence has made this event an overwhelming success. I would also like to thank Dr. Srivastava for enlightening our students in the live interactive session and enhancing their knowledge. I would like to mention here that the live session was scheduled only for an hour, but it went on for a quarter to 2 hours, as it was very interesting, made by Dr. Alok Srivastava, and he was very kind enough in answering the inquisitive minds of our students. So thank you so much. One day it would surely be our pleasure to have you here amongst us in our school for an interactive session with our young minds. The theme of the exhibition this year is Space Exploration and Integrated Sources of Energy, which aims at enhancing students' awareness of ISRO, space science, global energy crisis, and the need of non-conventional sources of energy. To tune with the famous scientist Stephen Hawking, who rightly said that science is not only a disciple of reason, but also one of romance and passion. It is an undeniable fact that science is not only merely a sum of logic and knowledge until it is laddered with humanism. We all know that the purpose of science exhibition is to foster awareness about the importance of scientific application in daily life and to encourage the promising young generation to display their activities, efforts, achievements in the field of science for human welfare. Science exhibition is also a well-planned method to kindle the curiosity among the students who are reported to be slow learners in science. Nowadays, it is the cry of time to motivate the young minds to give the society a new face where there will be no darkness of superstitions and bigotry. To popularize science among the masses, science exhibition is no doubt an effective tool. The theme of today's exhibition is bringing us to the right focus of science today. How can science help create a better environment for learning, innovation, and to make the future budding scientists aware of the great contribution of ISRO in the field of science, space science? Dear viewers, science can change our future, and the future of our society lies in the hands of aspiring young people like our students. Young people who can innovate, cooperate with others, and stay resilient would be able to rise up to the challenge and make our earth a better place. I wish you all the best in your adventure in the world of science. I thank the entire team of DPSJC, especially the principal and science department, for the devotion and sincerity to organize such an innovative exhibition despite the COVID pandemic. Once again, I thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really privileged to have your supervision and guidance with us all times possible. Without you, all this would have not been possible.
One new perception,
One fresh thought,
one act of surrender,
one change of heart.
one leap of faith can change your life forever.
We have one great personality who has faced many challenges in his life and became a successful person who is an inspiration for all of us. It's indeed a matter of pleasure for me to invite our honorable chief guest, Dr. Alok Srivastava. I request you, sir, to inspire and enlighten us with your wonder words.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Honestly speaking, I am honored to be with you today on this special event of science exhibition. This day is about your tireless efforts of days and weeks along with your teachers, parents, and your guides. I am pretty sure you are excited. There are a few days in human life when one is truly elated. I think we are born with some sparks within. But when I see older people, the spark is difficult to find. That means as we age, the spark fades. People whose spark has faded too much are dull, dejected, aimless, and bitter. Imagine that spark to be a lamp's flame. The first aspect is nurturing, to give your spark the fuel continuously. The second is to guard against storms, to nurture always have goals. It's a human nature to strive, improve, and achieve full potential. In fact, that is success. It is what is possible for you. Just getting better from current levels feels good. If you study hard, you can improve your rank. I always tell my juniors, my students, my colleagues that present world is so competitive that if tomorrow you want to be at same place, same spot, you need to keep on running, else you will be left behind. Practice makes a person perfect. So if you cannot become Tata Birla or Ambani's, Sachin, Dhoni or Saina, Newton or Einstein, Sir C.V. Raman, but you can get to be the next level. Striving for that next level is important. Now, if you have decided what you are going to be, The very first thing is set goals to give you a balanced, successful life. I use the word balanced before successful. Balanced means ensuring your health, relationship, mental peace are all in good order. There is no point of getting a promotion on the day of your breakup. There is no fun in driving a car if your back hurts. Shopping is not enjoyable if your mind is full of tension. When I was younger, people would ask me what I wanted to become when I will grow old. And when I told them I was already working on my dreams, they would laugh at me. Just they will tell me, wait till you grow. I feel one should not be very serious in study and one should be sincere. My father used to tell me, go out and play as much as you can. But after coming back home, study as much as you can. So it's just a balance of life. Have the personality, not just become nerd. In the initial phase of your life, all children are same, all like ice cream, playing toys. But as the days pass and you grow older, you all start realizing that you are different than other in many ways. Some may become players, some writers, some may be film star, while the other may become engineer, doctor or scientist. Look the sky full of stars with different varieties. Look the gardens, the full of flowers of varied smell and colors. As you grow older, you will realize you are unique. What you want, what you believe in, what makes you feel may be different from even the people closest to you. Set the reasonable goal with balanced habits. However, there are 4 storms in life that will threaten to completely put the flame of your spark. These must be guarded against. These are disappointment, frustration, unfairness, and loneliness of purpose. You cannot avoid them, as like the monsoon, they will come into your life at regular intervals. You just need to keep the raincoat handy to not let the spark die. Disappointment will come when your efforts does not give you the expected return, the fruitful result. If things don't go as planned, or if you face failure, failure is extremely difficult to handle, my friends, but those do come out stronger. What did this failure teach us? Lot of failures have happened in my life too, but we have come over. I have always, every time I face failure, I feel what was the learning lesson in this failure and I come out of it. Disappointments is the cousin of frustration, the second storm. Have you ever been frustrated? It happens when things are stuck, from getting selection in your school team or to not getting good marks that you deserve. Then you will get frustrated. Unfairness. This is hardest to deal with, but unfortunately that's how our country works. People with connections, rich dads, beautiful faces, pedigree find it difficult to make it everywhere. Finally, the last point that can kill your spark is isolation. My young friends, never feel frustrated and be alone. Good books, good teachers, and affectionate parents will always be there with you. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Follow your passion. Stay true to yourself. Every story you will ever connected with, every leader you have ever admired, every puny little things that you are ever accomplished is the result of taking action. You have a choice. You can either be a passive victim of circumstance or you can be active hero of your own life. I am delighted to be part of this science exhibition, and shortly I'll be interacting with students and faculty members of DPS Chapa on 5th of February. I congratulate the principal, teachers, students and staff of the school. You have contributed for building the robust framework in shaping your young minds and developing them to blossom as enlightened citizens of this country. My proud Indian friends, be proud of all yourself, your school, your parents, your teacher, your guidance. Thanks and goodbye till we meet next time on 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. It will be a great pleasure for us to listen to you again in our future events.
Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more humble you become.
We wish to express our gratitude to our honorable chief guest for being with us on this event. Your presence and gentle words are a source of encouragement for all of us.
We, the DPSJC family, is highly dignified by presenting memento to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Alok Srivastava. Sir, we request you to kindly accept it as a souvenir of love and respect from all of us. Thank you so much, sir.
In this chain, we are extremely privileged to present memento to our guest of honor, respected President Sir. We are blessed to have you with all of us today and thank you for your limitless guidance and support.
We are extremely honored to present a memento to our Vice President Sir, Mr. Purushottam Devangan. Sir, kindly accept it as a token of love from all of us.
Thank you, sir.
It's time to conclude, and so I would like to call Rashi Pandey to propose the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Some memories are unforgettable, remaining our ever-living and heartwarming. I feel that words are not enough to show our delighters. Yet, on a very sweet short note, I, Rashi Pandey, wish you all a very good evening and deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's event a resounding success. I would like to thank our founder sir, Late Shri Ram Gopal Devanganji, for constantly looking upon us and blessing us in all our endeavors. I thank our honorable chief guest, Dr. Alok Srivastava, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this occasion. I would like to thank our guest of honor, respected President Sir, Mr. Raj Kishore Devangan, for his encouragement, guidance and continuous support. We are grateful to our principal ma'am, Mrs. Kalpana Singh, for always aiming high and encouraging us to reach to that height with her. My heartfelt thanks to all the pedagogues for their valuable contribution, guidance and support. A very special thanks to whole science department, Dinesh Kar sir, Trilochak Patel sir, Yakub Valk Mishra sir. I owe special thanks to our non-teaching staff members, IT department, transport department, who have worked hard ensuring that this function succeeds. I thank all our viewers, parents and my dear friends. If time is money, you will spend millions on us. Special thanks to all participants who have worked hard to prepare all these models, thus showcased their knowledge and talents to all of us. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our Ayurvedis and Bhaiyas for their cooperation, support to make this event presentable and successful. Gratitude helps you to grow and expand. Gratitude brings joy and laughter into your life and into the lives of all those around you. Finally, I thank everyone present over here for paying attention. Thank you all.
Thanks, Rashi.
And now I would like to request everyone to rise in the honor of National Anthem.